Well, hello there. I'd just like to talk to you this afternoon about the times when, somebody says something. There are words that people use in the office, in the boardroom, whatever, or even in face-to-face conversations, and it's either language that isn't very helpful for creativity and innovation, or it is that these things are used like weapons. People lob in hand grenades, or they say things when they don't want something to happen, when they're resisting change. So there's just a few that I'd like to briefly run past you this afternoon. And the first is, we tried that before. Well, yes, you did. But under what circumstances did you try it? What actually happened? When you did whatever you did, was it executed correctly? Did you have the right skills, the right equipment? And usually this is a phrase that's uttered by somebody who has a vested interest in doing things in one particular way and dislikes change. So why not try saying, when we tried this previously, this happened. How can we improve on this? And this will completely disarm the person. Phrase number 2, that's not my job. Well, maybe not, but if you're looking to the future, then it may currently be nobody's job, in fact. So again, it's a phrase that's uttered by people who dislike change in their own personal workspace, or who simply want more money. So if you're trying to get someone to behave differently, then why not just point out the advantages to themselves or the organisation? Do it in that order, because people usually put themselves first. The third phrase is, we don't have the time. Well, actually, time always gets filled. So it's not really a question of whether the time is there, it's what is actually more important. So if you're looking to the future, do you have your backs against the wall? What is the result if you don't do this? Do you have to do it? So yes, we don't have time is not an excuse. It's a question of time is always there. What needs to be cut out? The other thing people say is, it's too radical a change. Well, the word radical is relative, really. So if it's a step towards where you want to go to, then that has to be good, doesn't it? But there are always repercussions. And if sufficient research is carried out, then risk and unwanted effects can be minimised quite easily. So this is a phrase that's usually uttered by the risk averse. And the staff will never buy it. Who says this? Someone is attempting to predict what a group of people will say. Difficult. If you take it at face value, it's a reason not to proceed. But try asking your staff. It will only be a phrase that will only be uttered by those opposed to change. A lot of staff may very well be for it. Let's get back to reality. That's a good one, isn't it? What is reality when you're thinking about innovation in the future? If you want to maintain the status quo, then that's great. But if you want to improve things, then you're going to have to dream just a little bit, or try to predict the marketplace. So what is reality? It's not really a valid statement anyway. And try this one. Let's give it more thought. Well, this is political. It's people trying to bury your ideas, or by those who prefer to actually talk rather than taking action. The only reason an innovation project can fail is through inaction. So let's not give it more thought, let's give it more do. And the other one that strikes fear into my heart when I hear it, I must admit, is let's form a committee. Now, this is a way of gathering like-minded people together to oppose an idea. It might be cynical slightly, but committees, even with the best intentions, just simply slow things down. So empower people to do things, co-opt others when necessary, but please don't form committees, or if you're in the public sector, the dreaded task and finish group. Another phrase that we hear uttered quite a lot is, it won't pay for itself. Well, if you're going to change your company in some way, does it have to? But what is the cost of not taking action? It may cost you, I don't know, $10,000 and only make $5,000. But what if it prevents the company from actually going bust? You can't actually do a cost-benefit analysis quite like that. And finally, the old adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Do this only if you want to get the same results all the time. Do the same stuff. But broke is like cost. It's dependent on context. A system can have worked so well in the past, but if the future is not the same as the past, then your system could well be broke sooner rather than you think. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it isn't valid either. And this is often used by those who have actually invented the unbroke systems themselves. They don't want to see change. So these are all things which people lob in hand grenades, people who are resistant to change, and it's just a little insight into things to look out for, what these things mean. So please replay this to your heart's content, pick up on these things. If you have any questions, then please do get in touch, and I'll be only too happy to answer your questions. Bye for now.